This time we'll open the regular monthly meeting of the Hamlet City Council. We'd like to welcome everyone here tonight. We're glad that you came out. Looks like the weather might be starting to give us a little bit of turn for the better, and I'm sure everyone's looking forward to that. The first item on the agenda tonight is invocation. It's given to us tonight by Pastor Dave Ammon from the Fellowship Methodist Church. Reverend Dave, thank you for coming tonight.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. Let us be still for a moment as we go to our Father in prayer. Almighty God, God of justice and mercy, on behalf of all who are gathered here tonight, we thank you for your abundant blessings. We thank you for life itself, for the measure of health. We thank you, Lord, for giving us our calling. We thank you for the substance and for fellowship. We thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities. May your goodness and love be present among us this evening. Bless our meeting with unity, hope, and vision, and build in us all a deep respect for one another, so that we listen with understanding and goodwill, and we speak with clarity and restraint. Guide us, Lord, to be the leaders your people need. Instill in us a vision with hope, and renew us with the strength of your presence and the joy of helping to build a community worthy of your blessings. We ask this as your sons and daughters, confident in your goodness and love. Amen.
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 Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that. Council, you have before you tonight the agenda for tonight's meeting. Are there any changes, additions, or deletions that need to be made to it at this time?
None, sir. None that I know of. Motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion to approve the agenda for tonight.
Second.
Have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Thank you. Council, you have also in your packet the minutes from the March 13th regular meeting minutes. Are there any changes or additions or deletions that need to be made to that? If not, do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So move.
Have a motion?
Second.
Have a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. At this time, we come to that portion of our meeting where we allow anyone who has comments that they'd like to make to the City Council to come up and make those statements to us. It's as long as it's not something that's already on the agenda, which we will let you address at a later time. But if you have something for us that's not on the agenda, please come forward. State your name, please, ma'am, when you get up to the podium.
My name's Teresa Hardy. Jill, is it on the agenda for tonight? No. It is not on the, okay. I had an issue with the water department last week. I had spoke to Jill about it, and I'd asked to come tonight, actually, but she said that she would address it with y'all, but I figured I better come here and step up and speak for myself and other people of the city of Hamlet tonight, because they mistakenly disconnected my water when my bill was paid. Very upset. I was on vacation in the middle of the ocean when my son had to come up here and pay the water. I had a house sitter that caught everybody thinking something was wrong. They said it was a mistake. People make mistakes, and I understand that. But when I got home, I had to go to the bank and prove that my water bill was paid from the bank. Had to come up here, bring it, and there was a lady in the water department named Kim. She was extremely nice and very apologetic. But as far as the lady over it, she just said, we're human, we make mistakes. We can get you a check cut next week, is what she said. And that bothered me because they already knew come Tuesday morning that it was a mistake. I feel like when I got back to town from my vacation, they should have been a check cut. I did come and talk to Jill, and Jill said that she would cut a check the next day if she needed to, but most of the time it would be the next week. And I think that's bull, because it's their mistake. They made a mistake, and they admitted their mistake, so it shouldn't be on me. And I mean, when I come back to town, they should have been in check waiting on me. or I said cash, because I had to pay cash to get it, you know, cut back on. And, you know, I just feel like it was wrong. I don't really, I wasn't the only one. And I think Jill said y'all cut off like 500 people a month. That's a lot of $25, if you ask me. And I've owned my house since 1994. Never been late, never been cut off. I feel like it should have been a red flag drawn up, you know, hey, and they admit they was. But she said the cutoff guys come and got it before they could snatch it. And I feel like it should have been highlighted and said, we need to check these people out. And that goes back, Jill said, there's nothing in the system now. I feel like it should be flagged. And a 10-day letter should go out. Or if it's an elder person, and we have a lot of elders in the city of Hamlet, that they should send a cop-out for a welfare check. Because they may be laying in the floor, who knows? If they've been there 20 or 30 years, never been laid, somebody needs to check them, because it don't mean they got family. And I just feel like something should have been done differently than the way it was handled. And then it was turned back on me because I told him, I said, no, I'm gonna pay my bill this week anyway, just go ahead and take it, you know, apply the credit. But then she got a call saying, well, you know, we can just draft your account every month to make your payment and solve this. No, if they can't correctly apply my money, I ain't gonna let them draft my account every month, because I don't think they're suitable to do it. And I feel bad to say that, because I don't think they acted professionally. And then come to find out that the mayor come in while I was talking to Jill, and he got to hear the whole conversation. And I found out tonight when he come in and shook my hand, he was my mayor. And
City manager.
City manager, I'm sorry, city manager.
I didn't know anything about it.
Never stood up and said, I apologize, you know, anything. He just sat there. Am I right?
Well, Ms. Hardy, first of all, I apologize. I'll be glad to apologize publicly to you tonight. I know Ms. Dickens apologized to you that day, and I was under the impression that Ms. Dickens had the situation under control, and I believe that she did. I know Ms. Dickens offered to write you a check the next day because she was cutting checks the next day. She usually cuts checks one day a week, and I know that she was prepared to do that, and she offered you that, and you declined it and said that you would take a credit to your account. And I know that Ms. Chappell had apologized to you, as you said. So I was under the impression that the situation was under control and that all was settled. And I am so sorry. I apologize. We process over 4,000 payments a month. Sometimes mistakes happen, and I am very, very sorry that you happen to be one of the ones that mistakes were made. Like you said, there are 500 or so cutoffs each month, and that provides for logistical problems with contacting each person that is on the list. The meter readers go off the list that's giving them for cutoff. But I am sorry that you had that experience, and I apologize if you think I acted inappropriately when you came to City Hall last week.
Well, I just found out that who you were, and I just felt like if that's who you were, you should have stood up.
Right.
I'm gonna interject here. First of all, let me explain something. Our city manager, and I support what you're saying, but you said it best when you came up. And mistakes do happen. But I'm going to say, I'm not going to allow you to sit here and attack our city manager in the way that you're doing, because by you giving your name, we deal with a lot of people, a lot of customers. And understand, he doesn't have a note in his hand that says, we got to apologize to such and such, because there are a lot of, it's just human error. Now, I will say, first, I've heard about this, and I hope it was handled the way it was supposed to be. Jill?
Yes, I offered to cut her a check the next day.
Microphone.
Turn your microphone on.
The reason we can't pay cash is we are not allowed by
Right.
statutes to
That's
operate
right.
in
We
cash at
cannot
all.
pay
We
cash.
have to
That's- yeah,
issue a
I-
check,
and
or
I
I would have
understand that.
gladly given
I
the cash
understand
back.
that.
Yeah.
But
It's a paper
But
check.
again, our city manager is not going to recognize by you saying your name or anything. I wouldn't. He's not going to recognize that when you say it, because again, we do cut off customers' water because they don't pay, and I do apologize for the mistake, and I understand. Trust me, I understand how you feel, because as a person coming in town from being on vacation, your water's cut off. But again, just where you had it at, mistakes happen. We'll make sure that, hey, moving forward, we learn from this mistake and we handle it as quickly as possible. It shouldn't be a check is going to wait for you next week. I agree with you on that. A check will be here for you immediately, because we can make that happen, right?
We can make it happen within a couple of days.
Yes, but not a
takes
week.
a
Not a
while.
week. So, but we can make it happen in a couple of days. but let's adjust. Let's approach the situation, and you've got an apology, and hopefully we've rendered the situation, and that's what it is.
I wasn't attacking him. I was just disappointed because he heard the whole conversation and he never stood up. And that's what I'm saying. Is, you know, if I listened to something and I was in his position, I would have stood up and apologized. That's all I'm saying.
I understand that, and
And-
that's what we have directors over these departments for.
Mhm.
And then if there's an issue, then we come and talk to the city manager and
Well,
say, you know, hey, this is
I'm
the
asking
situation.
the city of Hamlet to give a notice if one time a year, 12 months, to see if somebody's late, to send out a 10-day letter. Because like you said, I can make an honest mistake too and forget to pay my water bill. And I just feel like that they need to give them one time a year a 10-day notice to flag their account.
Don't disagree with that. And for a customer that, you know, how late have you ever been? Just the first time?
Since 1994.
So
Yes,
then
sir.
that's
you
awesome.
weren't late, you paid it.
I paid it.
Yeah,
I
and
was
you
not
paid
late.
it, so you were not late, and so,
wasn't late
yes,
this
I
time.
do agree, that's something that we
So
need to
We're
look at
talking
and,
20-something years, my water's never been
Yeah.
disconnected or late. So, I mean, that's all I'm asking is the
Right.
city of Hamlet to give the benefit of the doubt to other people that live in our county or our city that, you know, mistakes happen on your
Mm-hmm.
end and our end. So just in case they can catch it. Because
And
when
we
they
can
got
work
the
on that.
letter, you know. Now, I understand people you do it repeatedly every month. You
Right.
go to the same people. I understand that, and I feel like the guys that disconnect would know that they've never been to my house. They should have threw up a red flag, you know, and said, hey, call this one in. Hey, you sure this girl didn't pay? But the way I understand it, it would have come up that I didn't pay because my money was applied to somebody else. But, I mean,
and that's a mistake that we have to work on and fix on our end.
mhm,
But again, that will be the water department and Jill.
right.
And we'll make sure that we look at, this board looks at and talks about what can we do moving forward to make sure this doesn't happen.
Mhm.
There's really no excuse for that.
Well, mistakes happen, but it's all in how you handle the error, and it doesn't sound like it was
Yeah.
handled very
I just-
Professionally.
I
It
feel like
wasn't
there shouldn't
handled
have been a
well.
question about it when I come in. They knew I was coming in because when my son come in on Tuesday, he let them know that I would be coming as soon as I hit ground, and I did. When I left Charleston, this was my beeline was to the bank to get a copy. And I just feel like they shouldn't have been a question about it. If the check, no problem. I understand that that's a paper trail, but they should have been a check there waiting, saying, you know, we're
should have been.
sorry because I lost time from work getting y'all's problem handled, not mine. You know,
Therese.
they charged me $25 for being late that I wasn't, so I feel like I should get a fee for your mistake that cost me. Yes.
As far as the refund, we did refund your late fee,
Yes.
of course, but
Yes.
I believe the day your son came in and was questioning about it, I asked would he rather leave it on the account or get a refund check, and from what I was told, he said a credit was fine, so that's why the check wasn't waiting. That was my
He told me that was
understanding.
his money, and he wanted his money back. And
Okay.
of course, when I got the town.
got a different story. I'm
Right,
sorry.
well, see, that's what he told me, and
Okay,
I
that's,
gave his money back.
that's enough.
Yes.
That's enough. Thank you so much. And we appreciate it because we didn't know about the issue and we're going to try to do better.
All right,
And,
thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hardy. We appreciate it. Does anyone else have anything tonight? Okay, if not, we will move along to item number 6, which is a public hearing, PD Lumber Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan, and we have with us tonight Mrs. Donna Wright with the Emergency Management Director for Richmond County, and at this time I will open the hearing. Donna, please.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to council. It's that time again. Every 5 years, we update the PD Lumber River Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan. This is a requirement of FEMA. It's really important to our local governments and county governments because when we have disasters, one of the first things that FEMA asks for is, do you have an updated hazard mitigation plan? And with the experience we all had with Matthew coming through, the first thing they asked was that, and that's what made us eligible for those reimbursements that we sought to cover our expenses for response to that event. We received a grant through emergency management. This was no cost to the county or any municipalities to put this plan together. The North Carolina Emergency Management Department managed this grant and brought a contractor in to help us do the updates. I'll be happy to answer any questions about this plan if anyone has any.
Does anyone have any questions? Yeah,
I think it's something we definitely
Okay.
need to have.
yeah. If not, I'll close the public hearing at this time. Thank you, Donna. Also, before you have request for adoption of Resolution 2018-01 PD Lumber River Regional Mitigation Plan, which is your enclosure 1. And what are your wishes as far as the adoption of this?
Move to approve.
Got a motion to approve?
Second.
Got a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Thank you. At this time, we have Ms. Janet Robertson from the Lumber River Council of Governments. We're certainly glad to have her with us tonight, and please feel free to give us your information.
Good evening. I know I've been here before with information about the COG, so I'm not going to go over it in detail, but these are leaflets about the COG and our Workforce Development Program and our Community and Economic Services Program. I wanted to highlight two things that are coming up right away. On Thursday, there will be a program on understanding and responding to dementia-related behaviors at the Cole Auditorium at 9 a.m. That is a free program. We have the COG partners with the Alzheimer's Association, the Richmond County DSS, and Richmond County Aging Services to do a dementia-friendly initiative. And this is the third program in that series. So if you're interested, I have flyers on that also. The other thing that's coming up right away is a meeting to prioritize transportation projects in Richmond County. Every 2 years, the Lumber River RPO gives its priorities of transportation projects that we hope will be funded in the State Transportation Improvement Plan. And part of our the way that we score those projects is to have each county rank the projects in its area. And this is the list of the projects that need to be ranked. And we're going to do that next Thursday, April 19th at 10 a.m. at Rockingham City Hall. And public and all cities and the county have been invited to come to that meeting. So I'll leave these leaflets with you too. Is there any questions?
Anyone have questions?
I don't have any questions, but me sitting on the board there at the COG, I just wanted to give this board and not only the city of Hamlet, but Richmond County as a whole, because I don't know who shares this information, but I pick up the information every month during our meetings. But the service highlights for Richmond County as a whole, the financial investment for the time of October 1, 2017 up to December 31, 2017 was $288,898.04. And this went towards aging, community and economic services, the technical assistance side, and workforce development. So that's essentially just a quick breakdown without holding up a lot of time. Is the congregate meals, home delivered meals, in-home aid hours of care, legal counsel hours, transportation, educational programs, reviewed and corrected data from NCDOT on proposed projects, gather data and verified alternatives for funded TIP project information in Rockingham, wastewater asset management project, mapping work ongoing project meeting with engineers. Workforce development side was adult job placement assistance, adult job training, career center services, youth job placement assistance, and youth job training, as well as educational workshops. This is what our COG does for us. So when someone asks, you know, $288,000.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And also, me being representative for the cities in Richmond County on the Transportation Improvement Program, we've got a lot of programs that are planned for this over the next several years, and we're looking forward to that. We just wish there were more money available. That's the big thing.
Definitely.
Thank you. Thank you, Janet.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming.
Next item of business is the Arbor Day proclamation during the month of April, mayoral proclamation, and I will read it. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas the holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, lower our heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife, and whereas trees are a renewable resource providing paper, wood, fuel, and other countless products, and whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify the community, and whereas trees, wherever planted, offer a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now, therefore, I, Bill Bayless, Mayor of the City of Hamlet, do hereby proclaim Friday, April the 13th, as Arbor Day in the City of Hamlet, and urge all citizens to celebrate and support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands, and further urge all citizens to plant and care for our trees to promote the well-being of this and future generations, this 10th day of April 2018. And we will have a little ceremony on the 13th down at the park at the depot, where they will be planting a tree or trees, and we do this each year somewhere within the city, so everyone is invited. What is the time on that, 2 o'clock now?
1:30.
1:30 in the afternoon. And we're looking forward to that, and we appreciate the work that they do. These ladies that do the Arbor Day stuff, they still have a tree nursery up behind Monroe Avenue School, and trees are free. If you need something, they'll be glad to fix you up. Council item number 10, appointment to the Hamlet Board, Depot Board. We have before us, and I believe there is only the one application. Is that correct? And this is Mr. Lawrence Hanahan of Darlington, South Carolina. Is that correct? And what are the wishes of the Depot Board?
Who was this taking the place of?
It's just an open spot on the
Just
board.
one that hadn't been filled yet?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll move to approve.
I see that he is a member of the Grand Strand Model Railway Club.
It's my understanding. I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. It's my understanding he comes up every Monday and volunteers with the board from Darlington.
Okay.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Who made the?
I did.
Oh, okay. I lost that. I got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Thank you. Also have before you a list of tax releases for this month as per the county. See what we've got on there.
I didn't see really anything out of the norm, just
No.
the typical, move to approve.
Okay, got a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed likewise. Okay. This time we'll move along to item number 12, City Manager's Report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a few things for council and the public this evening. First, the city is hiring for 3 positions currently: a wastewater treatment plant operator, a firefighter/paramedic, and a firefighter EMT position. Applications are on the city's website, and applications are also available here at Hamlet City Hall. Also, the Seaboard Festival applications have been put on the city's website and are available for pickup here at City Hall. It's my understanding they're still working to get their website up and going with their applications, but we do have them here at City Hall for anyone that is interested. Next, the Planning and Zoning Board is seeking applications. Members serve a 3-year term. They meet on an as-needed basis on the 3rd Monday of each month to gather information for land use and regulations. Again, applications are available here at City Hall for anyone who has an interest on that particular board. Lastly, I will have the budget message prepared for council's consideration at the May meeting, and I appreciate all of council's input today and throughout the last month on the budgeting process. I will, of course, keep you updated with any further drafts that we have, and we'll have the budget message prepared accordingly in May. That is all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Anyone got questions for the manager? If not, we will move along to item number 13, comments of council. Mr. Lindsay?
A couple questions on the water, just to clarify. They're due on the 15th, and
They're due on the 15th and late on the 20th.
then we cut them off at that point.
When did,
We cut them off about cut them off 10 days later.
Oh, okay.
They have a 10-day grace period after that.
I didn't know the process, so that gives them some time if they were late before we shut it off.
Yes.
And 500 cutoffs, is that normal?
I think that's pretty typical for the month.
It's
There's
over
a lot.
$100,000 a year in paid to the city of Hamlet for people paying their water bill late.
It's a
I think it's like
lot.
$114,000.
That's
Is there any way, because this has come up before with somebody that paid a partial payment, they were doing it online and they keyed in the wrong amount. Now, I think some of us got talked to by this guy. His daughter did it, and she paid all of it for like $4 or $5, and her water got cut off as well. I know it's challenging with that many people. What can we do? Is there anything that can be done to try to eliminate some of this from happening?
Yeah, we've been discussing this. It's actually a minimum of $4.99, so they don't get cut off unless it's $5 or over. We've discussed it with the meter readers. The problem with them not recognizing the accounts is a lot of times tenants move in and out, so they don't really know. They don't always know when a customer, if they know it's someone that's never been on the list and they're clear, a lot of times they'll give them extra days. They have knocked on their doors. We've discussed putting notes on there. We're going to contact the software company and see if it can be flagged.
Something they can do.
And so we're discussing additional measures, even in the water department. If they know that they're over and a payment got credited wrong, they're going to go through the cutoff list themselves.
Right.
So we're looking at some manual implements, but it'd be nice to have in the software. We would need additional staff to manually go
Because in
through
Ms. Hardy's
everything.
case, she would have had no way of knowing.
She wouldn't.
She wouldn't
That's
have any.
correct.
I mean, if the normal person is paying it late every month,
Yeah.
they know, and they know when they can get up here and pay it and don't have to pay the reconnect fee.
She didn't. It was a mistake, and the day he came
Oh, of
in, we
course, I'm
did
sure it
offer
was a
to
mistake.
issue
Yeah,
a
no
refund
doubt
check,
about
and
that.
I was told by my staff that he said a credit was okay.
Yeah.
That's why she didn't get a check
But if
earlier.
moving forward, is there anything we can do to try to stop
The best
that?
case scenario is
somebody
if
that
our
had
software can
Yeah, she's
detect
never
it
been
and
late.
Right.
send out
Years.
alerts.
Right.
So we're checking
Do we
into
look?
that.
Do we look for that? Like, do we look for? Okay, this person's never been late. There's probably definitely something wrong here.
Now, we have no way to manually go in and look through that many accounts every month.
Okay.
That's why I'm hoping the software company can possibly program for us or give us an idea of what they can do. We rely a lot on the meter readers. They know who's on the cutoff list a lot, and a lot of times they do give extra time and they knock on the doors, which we had discussed this, and Teresa said she wasn't home,
Right.
so I'm not sure if anyone
Okay,
knocked on the door
but
or
let
not.
me, this still bothers me. How do we manage to improperly show that the bill was paid? How do we credit to somebody else's account?
They could have keyed in a one digit off from hers, and
So we
someone
don't,
else
we
got
don't
credit.
currently have a reader read a barcode on that bill when they come in to pay it.
I'm sorry, the reader?
You don't have a barcode reader to read the bill?
Scanner to scan the bill, I think.
No,
That
it's
seems to me
manual.
like
It's
that
all
would be-
manual entries.
That seems to me like that would be a big plus for us, whatever the cost is on
manually
it.
key it
Do
all
it one
in.
time, get it over.
Can we
So
look at
that would stop that.
Can we look at it?
Can we look into that?
I mean, with the technology of
I know,
barcode,
barcode readers are not
QR
that expensive.
code, or something, it may help. It definitely help you all out,
That would
because
detect a lot.
manually entering everything that's a lot of work.
That's right.
I understand. I understand her frustration, but
I do too.
the apology has to, apology from you, apology from her, and to us.
But it frustrates me as mayor when that happens, because that's what we're all sitting up here for.
Yeah.
Make sure it doesn't. Okay, Mr. Lindsay, you still have the floor.
Oh, sorry. Want to remind everybody, election coming up. The election's May the 8th. Early voting is April the 19th through May the 5th. A lot of local elections and a lot of state elections going on. So get out and vote and make your voice heard. I have a question for our attorney. There was a comment made in another meeting that it was illegal to leave a meeting. You'd be arrested. I can't find anything on it.
Closed session meeting.
Would you all like me to discuss that now, or wait till we've already got an attorney?
Well, I'd hate to go into the meeting knowing that if I left, I was going to be arrested.
Well, I'm happy to give you the answer. I'm asking, it's the pleasure of the board for me to answer that in open or closed session.
It doesn't bother me.
Doesn't bother me either.
Get it out and
So,
open.
you will not be arrested, and it is not against the law if you leave the meeting. The only repercussion is that if you leave a meeting without being excused by the
Automatic
board,
yes vote.
then your vote counts as an affirmative vote,
Right.
except in the case of zoning votes where it essentially counts as an abstention or a negative vote. Those are the only consequences.
Thank you.
Sir?
Okay, Mr. Lindsay, anything else?
No.
Okay, Mr. McQueen?
I don't have anything.
Oh, okay. Mr. Martin?
This is sort of a public service notice, I suppose. Robbie Taylor used to be a former, or is a former Rockingham police officer and lives in Hamlet. And his brother, Stevie Taylor, just retired from the Hamlet Police Department. His brother, Robbie, is going to undergo some serious heart trouble. He's got heart trouble, and I think he's going tomorrow. This has been a long process he's been going through, but they finally decided that tomorrow he's going to Charlotte to prepare for a heart. I think it's a mechanical heart. It's not a transplant. It's going to be a mechanical heart, and I'm sure he's going to need all the prayers and thoughts that the public can give him. Be sure and keep him in your thoughts and prayers. I appreciate it. Furthermore, they're going to have a fundraiser for him to offset some of his expenses for his family traveling back and forth this month on the 21st at one of the churches. And if y'all look at the newspaper and listen to the radio, I'm sure there are people coming around selling tickets. I bought some today. It would certainly help his family. And so if y'all or anybody else that's listening to this, try to help Robbie Taylor's family out. Thank you. That's all I have.
A lot of us know Robbie. We worked with him, worked with his whole family, and he's just a fine, upstanding citizen of Hamlet. And I think anything we could do for him would be great. And is that it?
Yes,
Okay, Ms. Maskey? Okay, Mr. Bowie?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to bring up one thing. Last month we discussed Rick's Catering doing an event, and I understand Rick's Catering's out of Laurinburg, but I did want to bring up that I'm not really sure why it was brought up last month, and there were concerns about it because back last November 2017 we allowed, and it was a motion carried with no rebuttals from anyone, for Rick's Catering coming in and doing an after-hours event at the for the Chamber of Commerce. Again, that was in all the minutes and emails that went out to all the council, and then it was brought up last month. So, not really sure, but that was in there November 2017 when we did that. But otherwise, thanks to staff and Jonathan Ford putting together the budget. I think this, you thanked us in the beginning, and I wanted to stop you there, but in reality, you guys sit here and crunch numbers for us all day long and then put forth something to give us for us to look at and be able to go over. So really, it's without you guys doing all the work, the hard work, the leg work, it would be hard for us to really put that together. So the work of you and Jill and Gail, and I think Edna's involved in some of it. It really goes without saying, just this city doesn't just stand on this board up here. It stands on you guys as well, and I appreciate all your help and efforts and everything you do. I know it's tough work, get a lot of, get some congrats and a lot of slaps and all that good stuff, but at the end of the day, it's worth it. I think I look back on just the time I've been here. It's, I guess going on 6 years now. I've seen a lot of things happen, a lot of positives. We've had some negatives, but it's kind of like a marriage. You're gonna have a little bit of bumps, and you're gonna have a lot of happiness and laughter. So it's just one of those things. So thank you guys for what you do, and thank the board for what they do. We have our ups and downs as well. I've seen a lot of. There's been bumps in friendships, relationships, headaches at home and headaches away, and all that. But at the end of the day, I try to look, at, well, what have we done for this 6,800 people in the city of Hamlet? And I think it's positive. So, Just I look at Jerry sitting back here. Jerry's a very young citizen in Hamlet. He's here at our meetings and joining us now, and that's our future. That's what we want. We want young people in here. We want older people in here. We want middle-aged people in here, and it just I'm really glad to see some of the positives. So, thank you so much.
Okay. First thing I want to do is make a comment about the Seaboard Festival. I'm excited about it. Mr. Chuck Cobb has been made the president of that organization at this time. And he's got, I believe he told me yesterday, he had either 8 or 10 people that are signed up right now on the committee, and had some more people that were interested in getting on the committee. So I'm extremely pleased that this is moving forward. They had a meeting the other night to discuss the requirements for the applications, and now they're going to start moving forward on that. And so I can't thank him enough for just jumping out there and taking this on. The budget, the staff has done a great job with the budget. We each year we're in a pinch on the budget. We do the best we can with what we got, and it's really tough. It's tough on council and tough on the staff too, trying to get together what we can spend and what we're going to have to spend. And as you'll see, we usually project an amount of money that we have to use out of the fund balance. And we never use that amount of money, but we do have it available if something came up in an emergency and we had to do something with it. So you'll see the budget come out, and I think there's a lot of good things on there. Were some things that we had to cut, and it hurt us to have to do it, but we had to do it. I want to thank both Mr. Stubbs and the city manager for the attention to the streets. I believe they have been doing a fantastic job. The pine straw and the leaves and everything have been picked up. I see those trucks running all day, every day, and I believe they're doing a great job with it. One of the things is if you call into City Hall with a complaint about a street problem or a drainage problem or something like that, you're probably going to see both the manager and Mr. Stubbs out looking at it. And I just can't thank them enough for doing that, because both of them are right on top of it. The pothole situation, since the weather's starting to get a little better, they're about all of them filled up now. But if you see a pothole that needs to be filled in your neighborhood, please let us know, and we'll take care of that. As the weather's getting better, a lot of people are going to be doing yard work. I will say one thing. I know we get a lot of calls about what I call house trash that's put out to the side of the road, and we do pick that stuff up. But the problem is we can't pick it up every week. We have to make special trips to the dump with it, and we have to pay separate for it. So the guys have to go out on a special trip with one truck to pick this stuff up. Sometimes we have to use 2 trucks. That's how much junk people have put out there. But just bear with us. We'll get around and get it just as fast as we can. But as far as the leaf and the limbs and that sort of thing, they're doing a fantastic job. So thank everybody what they've done, and I appreciate it. And at this time, that's all I've got.
I'm glad you said something about the Gail on the, and I should have written the street name down because it went blank. It's the house on the corner. If you come down 74 at the stoplight, to take a left at the Piggly Wiggly, and instead of taking a right at Bobby's Furniture, go through the stoplights, the first house on the right behind that house, the entire side, all the windows are busted out.
That would be on Raleigh.
Raleigh Street.
Rod Street, Spring Street.
I guess it would be Raleigh.
You're going to cross over Spring.
Because it would go down and it curved back around up towards 177. That first house right there. The entire side of the house, every window in there is busted out. On the bottom, at least, I know. And I know we have an ordinance about openings into the dwelling. So, just before I forget about it.
Okay. All right. At this time, we'll move along to item number 15. I need a motion to go into closed session per General Statute 143, 318, 11, A, 3, and 5 for attorney-client privilege and contract discussion.
Motion to go into closed session.
Have a motion to go into closed session.
Second.
Got a second? All in favor say aye. Opposed likewise. Thank you. At this time, we will go into closed session. At this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Got a motion to adjourn? Got a second? All in favor say aye. Opposed likewise. Thank you.
There's the email right